Hello, welcome to Realty Coffee Talk, a global building partnership among our partners around the world. Today is a great honor to have two presenters, Mark Borkowski. He's going to talk about Mercantile Merger and Acquisition. He's involved with he's the president of Mercantile Merger and Acquisition Corporation located on 1 King Street in West in Toronto. Then we also have a Wendy Cowan. She is a CIPS well-known personality with the Florida real estate network. An amazing person. She has a wealth of knowledge, lots of designation. She's going to talk about an opportunity to invest in a private hospital in Grenada. So we're going to begin our program to start with Mark. You want to present yourself first, and then we'll have more time for Wendy. Go ahead, Mark.
All right, so Tahir, thank you very much for inviting me today. Briefly, I guess, by introduction, on February the 11th, I will have been in the mergers and acquisitions business for 35 years. We work with privately held companies that have a minimum EBITDA profit of between $2 and $10 million. Our association that link our community, the mergers and acquisitions, venture capital, private equity community, estimate that there's about 46,000 real estate professionals for every professional that does mergers and acquisitions. It's an astounding number, but apparently, according to them, that's quite a large number. Selling a business is more than selling an asset. Smaller businesses probably are much less complicated, but from our standpoint, we're dealing with the sale of a complex structure that involves people and a variety of different assets. And in our business, we are selling shares or assets. Maybe I should give you a little bit more background just about myself to give you a bit of introduction. So I'm an electrical engineer, MBA. I started my career at Hewlett-Packard. I sold for 7 years. I sold into the large systems, into the automotive electronics manufacturing industry. So I traveled through Indiana, Kentucky, New York, Illinois, anywhere there were automotive plants that had electronics. Our largest customer was Ford Electronics in Lansdale, Pennsylvania. I left HP after 7 years with 3 other engineers, and we formed a company called Simtech Automation Systems. And we grew from 4 people to about 192 people in 4 years. We were taken public 36 years ago. I left not on very good terms with my partners. We parted with lots of disagreements. However, I went to go buy a business, I thought, but it didn't find anything, but put 2 clients together, one acquired the other. And for the past 35 years, I've been involved in doing the sale of private businesses. In our business, deal flow is very scarce. If you think it's scarce in your industry, in your business, you probably have no idea. Thousands and thousands of real estate properties, very, very few standalone businesses. In any event, businesses are sold for the most part on one formula, a multiple of what we call EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, and depreciation or amortization. So an average business that would say, do a normalized EBITDA, an EBITDA profit of say $2 million, would likely sell somewhere in the range of $10 million, taking into account, of course, all balance sheet items and the excess cash and whatnot. So you are looking in our business for multiples of EBITDA. There are very few comparisons. I mean, a company that manufactures LED lighting that has, $3 million of EBITDA, there probably isn't another company comparable to that anywhere in North America, maybe Canada. So we do valuations based on multiples of EBITDA. Average transaction, unlike in the real estate business where things happen very quickly, from start to finish, generally a project of this size will take about a year. No point lying or misrepresenting anybody. From the time we start a project to get through the whole process takes about a year. Smaller businesses, of course, are less complicated. So we have people who do what we would call business brokerage. They sell small little mom and pop type companies. At the larger end, we are involved obviously at the start from doing a valuation. Our valuations are based not on the physical asset, but based on quality of earnings. So we have to do a quality of earnings study. From that, we do a normalization of income, and then we can establish what multiple range on average this company would fit into. Some of the technology companies, and call it higher growth industries, actually trade on multiples of revenue. So if the company's doing $10 million in revenue and it's in a very high tech segment, it may trade for 2, 3, 3.5 times revenue. So valuations in different industries, different structures are going to be very different. Our business, again, really revolves around preparing a lot of information. So in every project, we will reach out to strategic buyers first. And secondly, any organization that probably does more than, call it $1 million or $2 million of EBITDA profit, we will reach out to the private equity community. The private equity community today in North America, about 42,000 firms that have captive capital. For about 4,500 of those have at least $500 million of capital, and they all have criteria. So we have relationships with over 4,000 personally. When we get our mandate, as I said, we've done the valuation. We prepare what we call a teaser, probably no different than you would do in the real estate industry, and we prepare a detailed CIM. Obviously, we get paid to prepare the CIM because it's a 30 to 40, 50-page document that contains a lot of analysis, a lot of background on the company. And again, we're dealing with not just a hard asset, we're dealing with people, we're dealing with complex equipment, all kinds of other assets. So we will go to market very strategically. In our business, to be successful, we have to maintain a license with one of the databases. We use a database called PitchBook. It costs us $34,000 US a year for a 1-year license. However, that database provides us with the names of virtually every company worldwide in every industry. So I'm picking the example of an LED manufacturer. So they're making LED lights. Through about an hour and a half of search, we will identify the names of every single LED lighting manufacturer, and then we can break it down even further. On an average search, we'll probably find between 500 and 600 companies internationally. We don't sell companies to local players because there are not many local players in the LED manufacturing business. Secondly, we'll then go into the database and search for institutional capital investors who have an interest in LED. They may have some acquisitions already in that market, so we will broadcast it to that group. In some cases, we will do a mailer, as I say, of 500 to 700 emails that will go out. So they're no different than any other sales process. You're hitting on the numbers game. So from there, you will get a big response back from all kinds of potential prospects. In all cases, everybody signs a non-disclosure document. So they've received the teaser. Those that are interested will qualify us, will qualify them in terms of what we're working on, and they will sign a non-disclosure document. On signing the non-disclosure document, we will then release the CIM. Then the process begins. The ideal situation is obviously no different than in any segment of sales, is to have multiple interested parties. So we then start to solicit after we've answered a lot more questions. So there'll be a flurry of questions that will come back from everybody. Most of them will be pretty common, but they could range from 10 to 15 different questions about the business, about the cash flow. We don't disclose anything in the initial stages about let's call it customers, maybe possibly suppliers, competitors and whatnot, but no information is ever provided about employees. In the sale of a business, we advise, and everyone advises, never tell your employees that you're contemplating the sale of a business. Why? People get very nervous, they get very skittish, and guess what? It's an opportunity for them to contemplate leaving. So through that process, we've now contacted, let's say 500 groups. We've received inquiries back from maybe 40, maybe 50. We've qualified them. They've qualified our opportunity in discussion. We've answered a lot of questions. Now we are setting up Zooms or, prior to COVID, face-to-face meetings. Why did this take such a long time? Well, when you're talking to people in Atlanta or you're talking to people in Belgium, by the time they travel to Toronto or wherever the opportunity is, and we work with companies across Canada. We have a current mandate of a company that's based in Chicago. So by the time people used to travel, it would take a great deal of time. So it's a little bit faster by Zoom, however, still no different. Once we get a letter of intent, now we're starting to negotiate back and forth. Our objective ideally is to deal with groups that have sophisticated resources to do a deal. Those, as I say, are the private equity firms. They respond quickly. They have captive capital, but probably, again, no different than, call it real estate. We encounter people who are trying to do deals on a leveraged buyout basis. In real estate, all cash deals are a reality. Somebody's selling a property, bank will finance it, and the deal is completed. In our world, there is what we refer to as a lot of leverage buyout buyers. Even the big firms, the private equity firms, obviously with interest rates being very low, are trying to buy the company with a lot of leverage. Company sellers are likely going to have to take some portion of the proceeds in a vendor take-back note, or what we refer to as an earnout. Because expectations are always higher. Everyone's got a higher expectation. So the seller of these companies, which are usually private owners, will say, look, I don't want my company to be levered up. My payout is based on the success of this company going forward. So that becomes a very big debate in terms of how much capital and equity is invested in these deals. So now let's say we've accepted a letter of intent. We've gone through 3 or 4, possibly more proposals. We've decided to enter into some level of exclusivity. Exclusivity might be 30 to 45 days with a potential suitor. They will then begin negotiations on the letter of intent. Now we've come to some sort of an understanding. Now due diligence begins. If you think due diligence is complicated in real estate, an average due diligence list in our business is somewhere between 100 and maybe 140 points. So you're looking at pages and pages of questions and determination to get to square one. That becomes the most complicated part. From there, let's say we've gone through the due diligence. Final step now, last step, is that the company, and by the way, due diligence extends right up until the day before closing. The last thing that companies will do is they will interview the employees, and that becomes contentious. So now suddenly, if the employees haven't heard or haven't sort of surmised that there might be a company sale, now the key management of these companies are interviewed. Usually that's a bit of a shock. Things don't stay necessarily the same as prior to the day before, but now they've interviewed, now we go to a closing. Closings on average, and if you've ever seen a purchase and sale agreement in our business, purchase and sale agreements will be, 100 to 150 pages maybe of lots of detailed legal agreement. A lot simpler in other businesses. From there, there's a wire transfer, the deal closes. Unlike real estate where people walk out that same day, part of those agreements are a management agreement with the owners to stay through a transition. Nobody will buy a business without a current owner remaining for at least a year and managing the company with some sort of transition team. Things fall apart during transitions. Lots of egos get in the way. So even after the deal is closed, it's technically closed, but we get into all kinds of disputes beyond. So the ideal situation for a professional intermediary is, instead of getting a lawyer involved when they say we're not going to advance that next portion of the holdback, we try to get involved in trying to mediate some of these disputes. So it's a much longer process. Again, I will say on average, probably takes 9 months to a year on average. We've been working on a transaction where we've been negotiating with the same group, a large freight forwarding company, And we've been talking to them now for almost 17 months, back and forth, back and forth. So that's the process in a nutshell. Maybe I can address some questions. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
Yeah, well, thank you very much for that detailed information, Mark. I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you have an opportunity where realtors or any real estate professional get involved with you in helping you to sell your acquisition and merger, or how, or there is any regulatory requirement that deals with or regulate your business?
That's an excellent question, and I was going to come to that here because we talked about that. For the most part, bringing in outsiders into these opportunities is a little bit complicated because I don't know anything about real estate, or very little, believe me, very little outside of what per square foot and questions to address. However, we have received some of the very, very best referrals from realtors. An opportunity, I think that most realtors and professional people in real estate don't realize that they're dealing with a lot of business people who own businesses. And these opportunities pass them by. So when there's a commercial building that's being contemplated for sale, more than likely, that principal of that company that is resident in that commercial building might in fact be a potential seller. So we've paid some very large, call it sharing of fees, with people in the real estate business. So they brought us a deal, we'll give them, be happy to share fees. However, getting people on the real estate side, what you'll find that the vast majority of organizations, strategics, private equity firms do not buy the real estate with the business. I would say that that occurs maybe less than 10% of the time. So what happens is the owner says, look, I'm 76. I want to retire. We've got a great deal here to acquire the business. We've got 240 people here. However, I don't want to be a landlord. So the opportunity then is, what do we do with the real estate? So we look out to the outside, either through his sources, and in many cases, they don't have any contacts. So we look to the outside and say, hey, realtors, come and make a proposal for this particular opportunity. So we're working with a company right now in Northeast Ontario that manufactures automotive parts. They're operating out of a 146,000 square foot facility. We have an offer from a private equity firm out of the US to buy the business. We're on side, but the two owners want to sell the building along with the business. Where do we go?
Thank you very much, Mark. If we have 3 more minutes for,
okay,
if you have any question for Mark before we begin with Wendy, we are really appreciative of your time. Anyone have any question, please open your mic and Vincent or Gerald Finch.
Yeah, I got a question. Is it so? Are you not a brokerage? Because don't the Real Estate and Business Brokers Act, and aren't you regulated by that?
Nope. The Business Brokers Act has been the Ontario government disbanded the Ontario Business Brokers Act probably about 17 or 18 years ago. It used to be that you had to be a real estate broker, and then you took an exam to become a business broker. That's all gone away. Anybody can be in the M&A business today. No schools, no accreditation. Set up a shingle today and say, I'm an M&A broker. I'm doing mergers and acquisitions. Every year, on average, we will hear of about 20, maybe 25 professionals in Toronto, ex-bankers, lawyers that don't want to lawyer, accountants that don't want to account, but suddenly hang up a shingle and say, we're doing mergers and acquisitions. So in the province of Ontario, we're not required to act as a registered broker. There you are.
Okay.
You can be an M&A guy.
Real Estate Business Broker Act, as amended by Trust and Real Estate Services Act, does require registration for someone who's dealing with commercial, whether it's a business or as a property or industrial or institutional. It does require us to do that. Maybe M&A is a little bit different. We don't know. We're relying on your judgment. And Vincent, you have any question?
No, just learning today.
Thank you. Where are you? Oh, you're at Tridel. So as you can appreciate, our business is like the Wild West in many cases. So there's a lot of people running around trying to sell businesses. The key in our business is finding an opportunity of a real seller that wants to sell at a realistic value. No different than anything you gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, are doing.
Yeah.
Gerald, do you have any questions before we end this episode? Because
Thank you, Tahir. I do have one question. I've done a number of business transactions, and is there a better way around the inventory problem than doing inventory the night before the transaction takes place? Is there a better way around that?
There's no easy way. In the case of a sale of a business, because many company owners will, to use a terminology we use, and it may not be common to all of you, they hide inventory for tax purposes. So they want to get paid for all this inventory. So yes, there is for all intents and purposes a counting of inventory that's counted by, call it the accountants. That is reported usually moments before, day before, 2 days before a closing. You're absolutely correct, Gerald.
Mark, do you
But
get
there's no easier way.
Mark, I have one more question before we begin our program is regarding financial statement. Do you get the financial statement, or you get an affidavit that they don't disclose the financial statement?
We have to have financial statements. In the initial information, we require at least 4 to 5 years of financial statements. Ideally, they're audited, but the number of private owners that require to do an audit is probably a minority. So we depend on statements that are called review engagements. The worst, of course, are the notice to reader, which is just a simple compilation of the financials. So for all intents and purposes, full disclosure for people to come forward. That's what takes a lot of the time. They're digesting, studying, evaluating, analyzing financial statements and forecasts going forward.
Thank you very much, Mark. It was very informative, a new area of expertise that we have to learn and share with you. I will have the contact information about Mark Borkowski. If anyone needs any contact information, please feel free to talk to me. He's our global partner now. We're working together to do networking and do business together. Thank you very much, Mark. And you continue to stay with us. Now, Wendy Cowan.
I'll say one thing in closing, because deal flow is so difficult to source. I have generated my deal flow over 35 years by writing articles. So I've been published over 2,000 times. I make the same recommendation to people in the real estate business that if you don't tell, you can't sell. So we are constantly asked by the major newspapers to include something about real estate professionals and their insights. Maybe we can write a column together. It'll make your phone ring. Let's move on to Wendy. Sorry to take your time, Wendy.
Yeah, thank you, Wendy. Welcome to Realty Coffee Talk. And now I would like you to present your project, a private hospital in Grenada. And let me know if you want me to share the screen or video or anything, you let me know.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Tahir. And excellent to hear about what you're offering, Mark. I actually have a business I would love to collaborate with you on. We'll cover that in another show, but that is a cash flow business manufacturing circuit boards here in the Space Coast of Central Florida. And that is for sale, and it's my listing directly. So I'd love to go over that with you, and we can do a show on that. But I want to give Grenada its full, it's my full attention. Grenada, first of all, if you guys aren't aware where it is not to be confused as the city in Spain, but it is actually a country in the Caribbean. It's an island in the West Indies in the Caribbean Sea at the southern end of the Grenadines. So it consists of 2 islands. You have Caracau and Petite Martinique, and several smaller islands which lie to the north of the main island. So they're part of the Grenadines, and location-wise, it's northwest of Trinidad and Tobago. Most people are familiar that Trinidad is literally right off the coast of Venezuela. So, that's the location of where this private hospital is located, just to give you some geography there. But Grenada is famously known as the Spice Island And much of the nutmeg that sits on our store shelves comes from Grenada. So it's a fantastic country. Definitely, they are on the growing end of the curve. There's a lot of infrastructure and development that's happening in real time. And where this hospital is located is just down the road from some new development meant to bring in tourism. So
let me know when you want to show the video, or you want me to show the screen, okay? Unless you want to share it yourself.
thank you so much. So essentially, this hospital is located only 30 minutes away from the airport and just down the road, as I mentioned, from this new development. So Tahir, if we could launch the video of the hospital so you guys can see, do a little show and tell, and then we'll get into the numbers.
Okay, so let me show that, please. I think this is the video. Everybody can see the screen?
Yes.
Yes, we see you. So to share with
Well,
you,
not yet. Okay, there it is. It's coming up. Could you? Okay, perfect, perfect.
can't hear the sound though.
When you share your screen, if you click share sound also, then it will.
Give me 1 second. Let me start.
Yeah, when you click share screen, there's usually a little checkbox in the bottom left that says allow sound.
Service and have been in operation for 22 years.
Yes.
Welcome to St. Augustine's Medical Services.
And aspire Dr.
Let me
Michi
start it from the beginning, so that way.
Ideally located 10 minutes from Grenada's capital town,
Can you
St.
hear it now?
George, St.
Yes.
Augustine's Medical Services is nestled in a quiet, serene, and secure suburb. This facility is set in a space that offers attention and care for its patients. Today, the team has continued its mission in maintaining a pivotal role in Grenada's healthcare system and attention to patient experience.
Hello, my name is Dr. Michi. I am the owner and proprietor of St. Augustine's Medical Services, the only private hospital in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. We offer premier healthcare service and have been in operation for 22 years. Welcome to St. Augustine's Medical Services.
And aspire Dr. Michi saw an opportunity to be of service to communities and the country at large, to nationals and non-nationals alike. SAMS is home to departments in radiology, laboratory, surgical services, and on-site pharmacy. Its inpatient services include a 6-room, 12-bed accommodation, maternity suite, recovery room, with clinical services in general surgery and hyperbaric medicine. In 2019, the intake of patients at SAMS was approximately 8,000, and with enhanced management, the growth potential can be both immediate and significant. St. Augustine's Medical Services has stood the test of time for an undeniable investment opportunity for the future of healthcare in Grenada.
Awesome. Thank you so much for playing that, Tahir. I'm going to go over some specifics about the opportunity so that anyone that has a background in medicine that's looking for an outstanding opportunity can get an idea of what this opportunity entails. So services offered. There are outpatient services that includes 2 general practitioners. They do offer minor trauma and minor procedures. There is an ER specialist clinic, which offers OB/GYN services for maternity care, orthopedic, vascular, as well as general surgical. The radiology services offered includes a 64 slice CT scanner, which is a very expensive piece of equipment, ultrasound and digital X-ray. And for laboratory services, hematology, biochemistry, immunoassays, and some microbiology is offered. They do have an on-site pharmacy, which is real important for our travelers who have some special medical needs. And for the diving community, to which I am a member of, they have a hyperbaric chamber. If you're familiar with scuba diving, if you go down and come up too fast, there is a very bad disease you can get, and the hyperbaric chamber is what will save your life. So anyone thinking of dabbling in scuba diving, it's very important that you know where the hyperbaric chambers are, because that will save your life. Speaking as a diver here. And they do offer COVID-19 rapid testing, which is very important for traveling. And as far as inpatients, they have 6 rooms, as was mentioned in the video, which is 12 beds total. So it's definitely a small hospital, offering maternity suite, recovery room, and also an operating theater, which includes a laparoscopic surgery capability, general surgery, orthopedic surgery, OBGYN surgery, and ophthalmological surgery. So they do run the gamut of services needed to take care of someone wherever they are living. And so that would support, you know, not only the locals, but also an expat community, as well as travelers who, you know, have their own health insurance. So we're going to go into that now as far as why it's a great investment opportunity. The intake of patients in 2019, and of course we have to factor in, we've had some crazy numbers that'll hit from a hospital facility because of COVID that has ensued since we got this listing. But in 2019, the intake of patients at SAMS was approximately 8,000, which represents just under 1% of the entire population of Grenada. So you're talking a very high expected growth rate in patient intake. And then we have a very positive reputation and positive image within the community. The establishment has earned a strong and solid reputation with stakeholders such as the local population, the tourism sector, the yachting sector, as well as St. George's University student and faculty community. So you have tremendous opportunity to work with the medical school there. Also, it is a preferred provider for a number of international insurance companies. So I'm going to give you the acronyms, CEGA, TMA, WEA, and PA Group are all insurance companies that will work with this hospital. So that covers most of your travel or insurance providers. And a high amount of patients are referred to the facility. So hearing some of these things here, what are some of the questions you have? I can go into some of the investment costs, asset value, future potential. How deep do you want to go?
Well, you know, first of all, I like to know from you the PDF that you share with me. Do you want me to share on the screen so people can see it and ask questions, or you want me to go ahead and ask the question?
Yeah, just go ahead and ask the question.
Well, the question is, what steps that are necessary to be taken by a potential investor to acquire this property? What are your prerequisites for furnishing the confidential and private information about this project?
Absolutely. And we do have every financial document that Mark would require to present an opportunity to someone. So it is a thorough review that was done prior to taking the listing. But in order to learn about the opportunity, they would simply either contact you, Tahir, or myself directly, and we would require an NDA to be signed. And once we have proof that the buyer can actually transact this opportunity, we move forth with providing the disclosures that are needed and the information, and arrange for a visit. Some things that we can offer in addition to the sale of the hospital itself, which is for sale for $15 million. is we can also include a lease or purchase of an airplane or a helicopter or both. But those are some of the things that we can offer through Mylan International Group, which is my international partners and where this listing is from. So we are.
The question I have for you, is there any appraisal done on this project to giving an estimate of market value of this project, this site?
Yes, the appraisal was actually done in 2020. So it's very recent when you talk about this level of transaction. Yes.
So it was done.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Appraisal or valuation?
yeah, that is evaluation.
What is, I mean, it's appraisals are for real estate. Valuation is for the business.
Yes.
You
the
have an
valuation-
EBITDA, is it in Canadian, US dollars?
Yes, everything is factored in US dollars.
$15 million real estate and business or just business?
It is real estate and business.
Okay.
Is there a room for expansion? Do you have any extra land they can expand the size of the hospital?
Yes, so the in the video, the beginning of the video showed an aerial view, and it shows the hospital and the compound area, including a private residence that's part of the property.
What type of a land transfer fee is or a closing cost would be something like that for a foreign investor to buy the property there, buying the transaction? What are the processes, legal processes, and also what are the closing costs for acquiring this business?
Yeah, those are the details that we're going to go through when we have our one-on-one with the clients. But we just wanted to give the general framework of what's available. But as far as the asset value report, as I mentioned, they have it at 11,328,584 as the valuation report from 2020. And rental value for offices is $500 US monthly. So that's additional revenue that can be gained. And as far as future potential, the business can grow and flourish rapidly with an effective management team. And that's taking advantage of a lot of opportunities that can be opened up with the public and private sector there. So just to give you an idea, the expected purchase price is negotiable, but 50 million is what they're asking. And they are looking for a minimum of 10% down payment on the purchase price. And, standard legal fees and some bank charges will apply. And what you can expect as a provider is your annual insurance cost in US dollars is going to be about $175,000 a year. So, it's definitely for someone who's in that medical field. And one of the proposals that we were talking with had to do with it being a medical tourism hospital where you can market for specific procedures, whether it's, cosmetic surgeries or, again, networking directly with people who do excursions. So that there's safe, qualified medical practitioners to take care of you if you're an adventure, mountain climber and the hiking. So there's a lot of opportunity to expand into ecotourism into some of these developing countries. And if you have that type of growth, you really need to have these types of facilities within a helicopter ride. So if you guys are familiar with what actress Ashley Judd went through in her excursion in Africa, she had a terrible, terrible accident. And it took, if I'm not mistaken, almost 2 days to walk her out of the jungle on a sling, so getting into these Instagram stories where people are out on the edge of life, you also need to make sure that there's medical facilities nearby to care for you if something goes wrong.
Question I have one more is that about buyer foreign investors. What kind of restriction, if there anyone have to buy a property in that Grenada? And also, is there any link to immigration if somebody has to be local residents in order to buy a property? So can you make us a little bit awareness on that?
Sure, and we're going to actually provide a link in the summary of this call, so you have that direct information. But what's really cool is Grenada has one of the most generous golden visa programs in the world, which is why they have such a tremendous immigration influx. And I'll invite you to learn more about that. But this would qualify for that immigration visa. And certainly, but the benefit of Grenada is that they are networked with many countries. So a passport from Grenada can actually get you into other places easier. And I'm not suggesting that people, play passport games, but I'll just say that they are one of the more generous countries on their immigration and investment offerings. So they do not restrict on incoming investment. They're welcoming it because they need the money, need the infrastructure, and the GDP growth. So I'm here to support Grenada as a fellow Caribbean country and support their growth.
Oh, thank you very much, Wendy. Now I'm going to open up this conversation with all of you. Please feel free to ask any question. Wendy Cowan is my CIPS partner. We are working together on many projects. As you know, my jurisdiction is Ontario, Canada. I am only facilitating this transaction as a part of our referral program with Wendy. Therefore, I will be doing due diligence to help all of you who are interested to make a referral. And then any arrangement that we have, referral partner, I will be sharing with you whatever compensation I receive from Wendy as a referral partner with me to make a referral to Wendy. We are going to, because CIPS and also license to the jurisdiction that we are trying to promote, it is Grenada where she has license and ability to perform. We are only referral partners. We are not actually doing the physical work because my license is in the province of Ontario. And so I want to make it very clear that so now it's open. Anyone ask question regarding this project to Wendy directly.
I just want to clarify something. I am licensed in the state of Florida, and we are co-marketing this opportunity, and Myland International is our international group that is the listing agent for this opportunity. So I'm a part of that group. And so all of this is 100% on board. So I'm super excited to share this opportunity with you. And hopefully Mark and I can pair up some buyers and sellers. It sounds like we have a great match here.
Well, I have more questions than we have time for. We got 2 hours. Honestly,
we can continue.
Is the hospital profitable? Is it a profitable venture?
So what I'm going to share with you, Mark, is an NDA, and I'm going to send you all of the information, and then you're going to come back with a whole list of more questions. So we're going to get this thing sold because he knows the right questions to ask.
Well, just as an example, the last transaction that we closed end of November was the world's second largest animal health company. So we surveyed virtually every private equity firm in the US and in Europe who were in the, let's call it, clinic or laboratory business. So we sold to a private equity group out of Florida in Miami called Pine Tree Equity. Pine Tree Equity is based in Miami. They have a captive fund. So for all intents and purposes, firms like theirs who are interested in private hospitals, private labs, private clinics of any size, particularly of this size, this is a sizable project. This is not something an individual could easily acquire, I'm sure, but it would be something that a sophisticated investor would acquire. So we have lots to talk about, without question.
We definitely
make sure that Tahir gives you my email. He gives me yours.
Yeah, Mark, we're going to have lots of opportunities coming up in our.
This is a good one. This is a good one.
This is a good one. We just beginning.
It's a good one.
We're beginning to surface. We have a very prominent personality. They're joining this event, Gerald, Vincent, Ken, and Barbara Ashley, and they have a wealth of connectivity and opportunities to cooperate. So Gerald, I'm going to go one by one to ask if you have any question. Is something interesting to you? So we have 5 more minutes to finish up, and then we'll communicate directly if we have any questions. Gerald, your turn.
Thank you. Well, I don't have anybody at the moment with a spare 15 million in their pocket, but if if you're able to share with the group just the basic information package, we can keep it on file. I don't think I'll be the guy doing this deal, but if you don't have the information, you'll never be the person. So I don't know if you have a basic info package to throw out there. If you do, appreciate it.
Yeah, we do have that. Vincent.
Well, I don't have a question, but once again, gratitude to all the leaders here too. And I think that's the power of connectivity. Now I learned something from M&A. I learned also something from, buy and sell for a private hospital. So I think that is incredible opportunity. Once again, thank you Tahir, Mark, and Wendy, Gerald and Ken, Barbara, Val. It's nice connecting with everybody.
Thank you very much. We will have a special event coming on January 27th, Thursday at 2 p.m. Invest in Dubai, Expo 2020, Wendy Cowan, and also Frank McCandless, our team leader. Please join us because that's be amazing event, and I hope that you all join. Ken Finch.
Yes, yeah, thanks Tahir for organizing this. Thanks to Mark and Wendy, great presentations. And yeah, Tahir, it's fantastic. You've done it again. I just go to your LinkedIn page and, it fills up my calendar here with good events. So yeah, definitely, we're going to be seeing some more presentations in the future and looking forward to it. Thanks, Tahir.
Thank you.
Where are you located, sir? Ken, where are you located?
I'm based in, I live in Oakville. I work in Southern Ontario.
Okay.
Well, Ken and me are partner. We are both dealing rep, and we have some live investment webinar coming up on February 2nd, February 16, and one is potentially on March 2nd, isn't it? And we're waiting for our CCO to approve them. It's a very sensitive and very compliance-related business, where we invite private equity firms and the individuals to invest. So we'll be sharing that event. Is already on the LinkedIn. Please look into those if you want interest. Now I'm going to ask Val if you want to introduce yourself. We got a few more minutes before we end the program. Val, you want to say something about yourself?
Yes, I'm Val Branch Duncan. I am a member of Aura and live in Orlando, Florida, and I was born in Grenada. I am also part of CIPS, ABR, etc. And I am part of the team of Mylan's team to promote the hospital in Grenada, and it's with Total Products company with Mylan Trin out of Dallas, Texas. And I just want to add that the transfer fee for any sale, the transfer fee payable to the government of Grenada is 5% of the sales price, approximately 5%. Don't know if that changed recently, but that was the price from last year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, I hope that you are a member of my Global Real Estate Professional Network, a private group of CIPS on Facebook. It's strictly, you have to be CIPS to join that group.
I am also on that group. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention it. Thank you. I'm also on that group. Thank you.
And next time you make sure that you come prepared and have your video on it, because it's being recorded. It's going to be shared on our YouTube channel, and therefore it's very good for all members who are joining and participating in the event to show their video, so we are able to add them into it looks nice to have the picture. Okay, so now
definitely as long as I get early notice next time, I'll be prepared.
Okay,
sorry, I got late notice. Thank you.
Okay, Barbara Ashley. Barbara, could you please tell us a little bit about it? Turn on your video for a second, please.
Good afternoon, all. I'm part of your CIPS group. I've been around for a while. I know you remember me.
Yes.
Sorry, I don't have my video on today because I did not know about this one until I got it from my my international group. They just sent that to me. And I said, oh, I need to jump on, and I got on, but my video was bad, so I did not even get sound. So I heard Wendy's presentation, thank God. Very good, Wendy, very good presentation. I am a member of the CIPS. I'm a member of the Global. I am a team leader for the Dubai group. So we're all getting ready for a fantastic mission to Dubai. I will definitely be on the interview with you guys on the 27th. Not much to say. Wendy and Frank is going to handle that, but I will be there.
All right, we look very excited. I did see Ida also, I think team leader for the Invest in Dubai. Is a part of the group, Wendy and Frank. So I'm very happy to welcome you to our connectivity conferences that we're doing monthly, but now we're going to end up with doing every week. So Matt Barnes just joined. Could you please connect your video, or you want to say a few words? We're almost reaching a point of ending our program. So could you please introduce yourself, Matt? I think
he doesn't have his mic on yet.
Yeah, something is not working.
I invited Matt. Matt is one of my referral partners in Seattle, Washington, and he is putting together a really cool China desk platform, which will allow you to market your listings directly to folks in China through an app. He's, I think, the official channel for Weibo and WeChat for real estate, for global real estate. So that's Matt.
Well, thank you, Matt. Thank you, Wendy, for updating about Matt. I'm hoping that in the future, he will join us on our 27th of January at 2 p.m. when we talk about Invest in Dubai Expo 2020. And I really like to take this opportunity to thank Mark Borkowski and Wendy Cowan for their excellent presentation. We are a network of professionals trying to promote building partnership among us, so we can do business with each other, collaborate with each other, and share a piece of the pie. We all put food on the table. So idea is, we are talented. We have a pool of excellent professionals on this screen that attended today, and wealth of knowledge. And it's always, you learn from connecting with each other. You learn about personality, connectivity, and also knowledge. And we have hundreds of thousands of years of experience right on the screen right now in real estate, whether you're dealing with a new construction, or you are resale, you're residential or commercial in Canada, around the world, in the United States, or around the world. I really thank all the participants for taking the time. If you have any question, please feel free to connect with me. I'll be more than happy to connect with the partners that did the presentation. And Mark and Wendy, Vincent is our mentor educator, and he is involved with such a large building projects in Canada. Amazing. Gerald is from Edmonton. Ken Finch is also past president of Toronto, REIC Toronto chapter. Wealth of information and knowledge, and we are there to help and connect. Let's do it. This is the power of connectivity the Realty Coffee Talk has created for all of you, and connecting and bridging our friendship around the world. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on January 27th at 2 p.m. for our special opportunity event for Invest in Dubai Expo 2020. Thank you for watching. Bye for now from me. Thank you for attending.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.